Okay, Ryan, looking at your short essay on a freshman survival guide topic, and want to remind you, I'm going to give you guys more specific guidelines on how to put a heading on your paper, but I had to put your name on your paper for you. How sad. Remember to do that every time. Okay. Does not reflect on your grade, though. Okay. Surviving the big fish tank of high school can become quite a journey that comes with many trials and tribulations. For the incoming fish to try to stay swimming in the new waters, they must learn to follow a simple set of rules. Although simplistic in nature, these guidelines will help you survive. Dang, I love that. All right, keep going. Beginning your journey the right way is probably the most important to your success in the future. I think you meant future. I will begin with probably one of the most important, most simple of the rules. The first rule would be to learn how to talk to an upperclassman. The reason I think this rule is so important is because if you were to come into high school like you know everything, but you really know, okay, I think I may have your incompleted version here, but I want to just go ahead and talk about what you have here because there's a lot to talk about. The first thing I ask you guys to pay attention to as you write is a sense of exigence. That's urgency. That's coming across as a writer who's invested in what they have to say, that they treat what they have to say with importance, and that the reader is going to grab something that they must have from what you have to say. Bingo. I think you've done that from the beginning. I love some word choices that I see here. Surviving the big fish tank of high school can become quite a journey that comes with many trials and tribulations. For the incoming fish to stay swimming in these new waters, they must follow a simple set of rules. Although simplistic in nature, these guidelines will help you survive. I love how you've contrasted that, it's simple but vital. And I love adding the word survive in there because you are telling them how to survive. And you do something bigger than just word choices right here, but you use a kind of an extended metaphor. Oh, happiness. Because you talk about surviving the fish tank for the fish or the freshman, and then incoming fish to stay swimming. They must learn these new waters, simple rules. Love it. You would really make any instructor happy, happy, happy if you let this metaphor live on to the very end of a longer essay. And if you came back and touched upon that and let that extended metaphor float through your entire paper of what you have to say, that's fantastic writing. That's showing a command of not just word choices and not just sentence variety, not just exigence, but a sense of communication. And that's a gift that I can see that you've been given, and it's enjoyable for me to read and look at. Okay, then you move on down here, and you let's look at this next little section. Beginning your journey the right way is probably the most important to your success in the future. I will begin with probably one of the most simple rules. That first rule will be to learn when and how to talk to an upperclassman. I think you're headed toward, making a specific example of how that takes place, and that's what I think I would say to you is that you're setting it up, and my expectation now as the reader is that you're going to give me a specific example. Overall, most of the essays that I've read, a common mistake is to state a reason, state an example, state a point, and then move off before you give a specific example to back up and elaborate or illustrate what it is that you mean by that. When you give those specifics, then your exigence is, woo, hello, red marks that moved everywhere. When you do that, specific examples just absolutely make that urgency and that sense of I'm connecting with what you have to say and I'm buying it, because those examples help that kind of jump up off the page and take on life. And I think that's where you're headed, and I'm totally going to give you credit. So I'm going to say on an exigence scale, a hearty, solid 95. Even though it's incomplete, I wanted to just get you guys writing, and I'm trying to practice this new grading software app. And so I'm going to give you credit for what I see here, and we're going to call it what it is. And then let's talk about your choices on present participle phrases as sentence beginners as a way to achieve sentence variety. Well, right off the bat, I see the word surviving. There's a present participle because it's a verb ending in ing. I see one here, beginning, and I think that's the 2 out of the 4 sentences that I'm looking at, 5 sentences, and that's good. 2 or 3, you don't even really need to use one particular method of particular sentence beginning more than a couple of times per paragraph. So the fact that you've used it, I really want that to do something different. Hang on. Okay. So 2 of your 5 sentences start with this present participle phrase. Nice. That was what I asked you to do. The bigger point I want to make before I stop making my comments is that sentence variety can be achieved a lot of ways. This is just one way. And sometimes when people are struggling with what exactly should I do to this to kind of maybe mix it up and polish it up a little bit, throwing sentences that begin with an action, take your reader in closer and quicker to what you have to say, what you're directing them toward, and that's what this sentence here, oh, come back. Where were my marks? Something like that. There we go. So the sentence that says surviving, and the sentence that starts with beginning, they're your action verbs at the first of the sentence, and that's a nice thing to do. So I think you get my overall point. I think you've done a nice job. So again, on sentence variety by the use of present participle phrases, also a 95. Write down your notes of what were the specific things that contributed towards your grade. Write down your grade on each of these and hand it in to me, and then I will record it. Thank you.